Great. Good morning, everyone. It is 9:10 a.m. and 18 seconds on my Cordaro Jewelers watch. And it is Wednesday, July 30th, year of our Lord 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he. Broadcasting today from what is, I guarantee it, the United States of America. Yes, it's the place for the brave. Like the veterans we salute today, but unfortunately lost this year, courtesy of our man John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality, which will be right in the middle of this big Scranton Jazz Festival weekend. Like Vincent Connors, German, Stanley, Babe Kuznetsky, Ashley, David Urkanin, drums, Michael Buddy Kuzmiak, Scott Township, Paul Panuski, West Scranton, and Joseph Devaney, Bloomsburg. The United States of America, founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our incredible founding fathers that the government is not, shall not be, cannot be our parent, our guide, our salvation, our direction. Not any of these things, but is nothing more than a necessary evil we require to organize and protect society. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. It was not something that could be parceled out to groups. Freedom could not be controlled by government or government officials because our great American Constitution ensured and codified freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press, whether they use it to lie or not. Now, armed with these freedoms, and only because they had them, this ragtag bunch of immigrants, rejects, and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro Show, well, it'll always be, I promise, convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And so we gavel to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, assuring you that our commitment to common sense will create a sanctuary of sanity, which you need in a world where an entire political party, the Democrats, has gone insane, and our world leaders are bent on destroying our lives. Why? Well, for their own benefit. We could figure that one out, can't we? I'll tell you, more and more, something caught my attention. Now, I watched the series called White Lotus, and the latest edition of it had, I forget her name now, but it's Sydney something or other. And she did an American Eagles jeans commercial. And she's, a very attractive young woman. And it harkens back to a Calvin Klein's jean ad that Brooke Shields did 45 years ago. And where she said, well, genetics, da-da-da-da-da. Well, she's talking about genetics and then says, my eyes are blue and my jeans are too, or something like that. I mean, I'm talking about innocuous times 10. But our indignation industry has jumped on this because apparently you can't have an attractive white pitch person. No, they've all got to be trans or that something. There's got to be something minority about them, or I don't even know. I don't even know what they're driving at. And so there's this faux outrage, as it usually is. And I don't know, you just say to yourself, we have so many people in this country because of our incredible prosperity who suck the teat of this country and can do things that are absolutely useless. So all these, I don't know, left, I don't even know what you'd call them. All these idiots on the left, they're outraged and they're saying it's something. Whoa, hold on. It's something to do with Hitler. It's indescribably stupid. And I don't even know how to, it's hard to react. Because even though they're so predictable, how do you respond logically and sensibly to insane people? Sydney Sweeney, yeah. Thank you. Somebody texted that in. I mean, she's not like the most beautiful woman in the world. She's got a little act going. And then this is her 15 minutes of fame. She took the commercial. But I mean, at this point, I want to go out and buy American Eagle jeans, and they ain't going to fit me. We have an unhinged, that's why we have a sanctuary of sanity here. We have an unhinged, maybe 20% of this country, maybe that big. Now, they punch way past their weight because the media loves to pick it up and loves to expand on it and turn it into something it's not, whatever the latest full outrage is. And oh, boy. Slick says that clip with Kennedy is spot on. Everything he said is so true. That's why I like Kennedy. He's the senator from Louisiana. Republican senator, John Kennedy. But, man, how did we get this silly? And remember, they're the ones, the mentality that foisted Dylan Mulvaney on us as a pitchman for beer. This is how insane they are. This is how detached from reality they are. And in many circles, they are thought leaders. And so the one commentator, I saw her, I don't know if she has a blog, whatever, all these stupid things people do now because it's so cheap to have a camera and get on the internet. She says, by the way, no American flag behind her, some kind of weird, it looked like the Palestinian flag or some modified version of it. That'll tell you all you need to know what an idiot she is. But she says, well, with a company called American Eagle, what could we expect? So in other words, associating with America is a bad thing in this disgusting human being's mind. And this is who we're reduced to. Wow. And it's just a middling, small-time actor trying to make a living. Maybe it's her big break. I don't know. But now she's Hilda Braun. I mean, it's unbelievable for doing a jeans commercial. We can't fix these people because you can't fix stupid. the Schumers, the AOCs. You can't fix them. Rashida Tlaib, name them. Mondami. You can't fix stupid. But we can put them in perspective that they deserve. All right, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. Let's hear from our great sponsors. A little history, a little music, and then we'll be back. Admit it, how many of you tried to sing that note? %99 of us failed. Well, Murph tells us this date, 1962, the Four Seasons released their hit Sherry. I don't figure it out. I mean, yesterday was a Frankie Valli song, I think from 64. Now, it was Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons, but sometimes they just put the Four Seasons, sometimes Frankie Valli, just Frankie Valli. So maybe they had separate deals. I don't know. And then before that, on our history, The Waves, women accepted for volunteer emergency service. And what a service they did provide. And now we've got some absolutely great women in the military. Bob, by the way, a guy named Ricchetti, who's been close to Biden, he goes back to the Clinton era, just one of these Democrat operatives. And I don't say that pejoratively. I say Democrat pejoratively, by the way, but not operative. That's, they go in and out of administrations, and they'll be in, just on the Republican side, they might be Mike Pence's whatever, and then they're in the Trump administration, and so on and so forth. But he goes back to the Clinton era, but he was very close to the situation. He is to testify to House Oversight, which is, are they going to get anywhere? Yeah, well, we can walk and chew gum. You might as well. Let's find out how blathering of an idiot Biden was. Because we've been lied to so much by the Democrat Party, people in the Biden administration, the media, that it deserves probing. And it, in my view, and I said this while it was going on, we as a country are in grave peril because this clown, and he was a clown before he lost his marbles, this clown is president of the United States. And now he's a demented clown, and we should find out how bad it is. Now, the smart thing to do, and when you have a doctor taking the Fifth Amendment, he didn't cite HIPAA, by the way. He took the Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination. This quack, the Biden family apologist and liar. So I want you to just let that sink in. These people are taking, Ron Klain aside, and I'm happy he answered the questions. Let's see what Ricchetti does. But, I mean, that just tells you how bad it was. That we really, as a country, dodged a bullet with this demented fool as president of the United States and the left-wing lunatics surrounding him. Unbelievable. Truly scary. And somebody says on another subject, I still believe Donald Trump would have made a pathway of citizenship for many once he secured the border and reformed the process. However, what the left did by flooding this nation has required him to deal with a more serious issue before he can try to establish a system for citizenship for those here illegally but worthy candidates. Yeah, I know. Well, see, they think they're going to be in power forever because they were trying to fix it so they'd be in power forever. They were trying to make our elections completely stealable. Now, there's a 2-3% margin in favor of the Democrats and their fraud every election. And that's because, and it could be even larger, like in Biden's first election. I'm now convinced that it was stolen. I'm now convinced it was stolen. They invented votes. Common sense tells you that Joe Biden in 2020 was not the most popular candidate for political office ever. So, that aside, they stole it fair and square, so, you got to move on. But that aside, yeah, their policies of the Democrat Party, every single one is wrong and damaging to this country. Every single one. Quite amazing. Somebody texted in, any normal Democrats would already change to independent or Republican by now. Anyone left in the Democrat Party now is just a broke human with nothing left than to oppose Trump and his policies. I call them sheep people. They have no solutions or answers, just oppose Tom, says Tom from Dallas. Well, a lot of people haven't made the move yet. And by the way, I don't care what your registration is. The insanity of the Democrat Party, as long as you acknowledge they're complete idiots and they're wrong about everything. But I mean, if you like Chuck Schumer, if you like AOC, if you like Mamdani, the squad, then there is something wrong with you. I'm sorry. We love you, but there's something wrong with you. Okay? Somebody says it took you long enough to come around to believing what most of us knew all along about the 2020 election. Well, no, I never. Please remember what I said. I try when I have a chance to think, I'm very precise about the language I use. Number one, it is demonstrable that in 2020 there was a massive. There were massive, multiple voting fraud efforts on behalf of Joe Biden. But the other part to that is you cannot prove that they stole the election. You could believe it with a credible basis, but you can't say it happened. That's all I said. Did they steal enough to win the election? We can't prove that one way or another. You just can't. But when you look at Joe Biden's vote totals and where he came from, a guy that couldn't even get 1% in Democrat primaries in previous runs for the presidencies, then the conclusion is common. Somebody texts in, what were the efforts? What were the efforts? Obviously, you don't listen to this show. Mark Zuckerberg spending $419 million to illegally supplement voter registration offices in all of the key places, all the key counties in the election. $419 million. And it was illegal because you have to be a sworn officer of the county in order to perform those functions. Then we talk about the 2,000 Mules efforts, where people were stuffing these idiotic drop boxes. Then we talk about the normal theft of votes. It happens all the time. People voting multiple times in major cities. People who weren't registered voting. All of that. It happened. I mean, you want to have your head in the sand? Okay. They tried to steal the election. Did they, in fact, steal it? You can't prove it. I know what I think and I believe, separate issue. All right. We're way past. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We will return. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day. Brought to you by our man, John Basiliga. And we remind you, it's Jazz Weekend in Scranton, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and between Atera 519 and Sergey's, some of the best venues. Friday at Atera, Jazz 6 to 8 while you dine. Then downstairs at Sergey's the same night, 7 to 10, no cover. Great jazz. And it's the venue for jazz, believe me. Saturday, Sergey's has jazz 7 to 10, no cover again. And you could dine downstairs. Delicious filet, halibut, while listening to your favorite jazz music. And finish up the weekend Sunday at Atera's Sunday Jazz Brunch, 10 to 2. I can't wait for that. Vincent Connors. He died July 15th this year. He was 87. He was from German. Born in Carbondale. Graduate of German high school. He served us in the U.S. Army on active duty from March 57 through March of 59 when he received an honorable discharge. In 1959, he married the love of his life, Patricia Murphy of Mayfield. He worked for West Electric, Lucent Tech, and the U.S. Postal Service as a telecommunication and maintenance technician before retiring. He returned to his hometown of German in 1999. He leaves behind family members and his hometown of German, Vincent Connors. Stanley Babe Kuznetsky. His family says he joined his mother, dad, and brother Joe with the Lord when he passed away July 18th this year. He was 89 years of age, lifelong resident of Ashley, educated in the Ashley school system. He graduated in 1954. Member of the 1953 state basketball championship team. And he performed in the state championship game in Pittsburgh. Coached Little League, assistant basketball coach at Hanover Area School District. He loved all sports and the thrill of competition. Graduate of Wilkes-Barre Business College and proud to serve his country in the U.S. Army, 1956 to 1958, serving with the 21st Infantry in Schofield, Hawaii. Stan was employed by Mabane Printing Company in Wilkes-Barre. He ended his career at Llewellyn and McCain. After retirement, he was a part-time job as an usher at the inception of the Mohican Sun Arena in Wilkes-Barre. Never one to sit around. He had to get out. Notre Dame football, Hanover Booster Club. 1964, he married the love of his life, the former Dolores Palfy. Together they raised 2 daughters, and they were blessed to have 61 wonderful wedded years together. In addition to his wife and daughters, Babe is survived by 5 grandchildren, 1 great-grandson, and many other family members. Babe Kuznetsky. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by Atera 519 and Sergey's, the place to be for Jazz Weekend in downtown Scranton. Storm Tiger 16 weather forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, sunny and hot with a chance of thunderstorms, 92. Tonight, partly cloudy, 68. Thursday, cloudy and cooler with showers and thunderstorms, likely 77. Friday, clouds and morning showers, then becoming partly sunny, 74. So I heard Joe tell earlier in the week, I didn't hear him today, that it's going to get up to 80 even, which is, that's perfection. But the heat wave breaks when? Yeah, it breaks tomorrow. Right? We're Wednesday already. Isn't that unbelievable? Time flies. You can't, you just can't hold on to it, can you? By the way, I expressed some concerns to you that we had a Michael Curley situation going on here with Cutie. She was giving me these fruits to take in that I'm allergic to. But she didn't do it today, so either she's playing possum or she's actually not trying to slowly murder me. Time will tell, of course. But I'm on to it now if that is her plan. And it would be completely understandable, but, maybe Chauncey talked her out of it. I don't know, but there was no fruit to cause an allergic reaction. I had one yesterday, the throat, the nose, the ears, and I can have an apple or a peach once in a while, but sometimes they just come right in on me. So that's good news. Somebody texted in, the Democrats spied on Trump's campaign, implemented spies into his campaign, made up the Russia hoax, weaponized the intelligence agency against Trump, raided his home in Mar-a-Lago, arrested him on state charges over a payment labeling dispute, and gave him 34 felonies for it. And by the way, that's not all. I think I can imagine a world where the Democrats would steal an election. Yeah, Tom, you're right. Somebody says, be very grateful that there's a woman who makes you lunch. That's life, bro. Well, no, she'll put the fruit out. Doesn't make me. I don't ask her to have a lunch. It's the morning here. Anyway, somebody texts in, LOL, it's cute you let your feelings guide you. My wife does that too. Well, I hope your wife's not listening, troll. Listen, there's no convincing you of anything if you don't think they actively and on a number of fronts tried to steal the election. Please, don't. You're demonstrating a lack of intelligence. And you go back to these people and I can't figure it out. Why would you defend the indefensible stealing votes? Why would you ignore the indefensible? Why would you believe the same people who lied to you about everything, from COVID to Joe's cognitive ability, to the withdrawal from Afghanistan, to the lies about gas prices and inflation and who caused it, and you believed it all? Don't you feel like an idiot? And yet you're still there. You're still willing to swallow. Wow, that's scary. Robert Curley. It's not Michael Curley. Thank you. Poor guy got, that's the poor guy that got poisoned. His wife was spiking his lemonade. He was an electrician. He'd go to work and he had a thermos. I love thermoses. And she would put arsenic in his lemonade. Now, did he die? I don't remember. I'll have to ask Brian Hughes. Well, I could ask you guys. I don't remember if he died or what happened. Mike Mancini texts in, separate issue completely, says, good morning, Bob. For your information, Mr. Smurl, the city of Scranton council president, one of the famed three blind mice who vote idiotically with the mayor on everything. He was served last evening. I added that. He was served last evening by Tom Coyne for a violation of the Sunshine Act. Well, they violate it all the time. Oh, listen, these people are always doing the opposite of what should be done. They're always accusing you of what they do. Yeah. Somebody said, I think it was iced tea for Robert Curley, and he died. Yeah. Okay, lemonade. I said, okay, whichever it was. Thallium. It was thallium poisoning? All right. You guys are up on this more than me. I should have looked it up once I brought it up, but I didn't. Somebody says, the same troll. I do have to give conservatives credit for their creativity. The mental gymnastics is entertaining. You please tell me one thing that you believe and that the Democrats have told you that is true. Just one. You just give me one. And now I'm done with you, by the way, because you'll troll on through the whole program. And I'm not interested in stupidity. I'm not. And we love you. You're probably a really nice person. But you're dumb as a box of rocks. And I can't. That I can't. And the reason I can't help you with that is because you want to be. So I can't overcome that. Nobody can. So you continue in your la-la land, ignoring fact, truth, and reality, and we'll continue in the real world here. And by the way, we'll save the country for you and your idiocy. We'll save it, despite you, and you benefit from it. That is sort of the sad irony of this. Well, my Picardo Jewelers watch tells me it's time for Bloomberg Money Minute. It's 9:50. Yeah, that's an actual song. I don't know if I remember it firsthand, although I was 5 years old. Jerry Samuels, this date 1966. Murph says he was a recording engineer at Associate Recording Studios in New York City, and he went by the name of Napoleon the 14th. He released his first and only hit, one more than I had, They're Coming to Take Me Away. Figures Bulldog would play that too. But more importantly, 1956 this date. President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed a measure making In God We Trust the national motto, replacing E Pluribus Unum. And I remember, they've got to bring the Pledge of Allegiance back to schools. We can't allow civics and an understanding of the greatness of this country to be forgotten. By the way, could you tell from the people who even made that short that we played that they weren't too happy about it? Yes, it would make all the right people angry if we brought back the Pledge of Allegiance every day. In any event, speaking of great things as we head to the top of the hour, Mother Teresa, St. Teresa for July 30th. She says, serve God joyfully. Let there be no sadness in your life. The only true sorrow is sin. St. Teresa, Mother Teresa. Always great, always poignant. Thank you, Mary Regina. Well, I keep looking at my great Baccardo Jewelers watch, and it tells me with great accuracy that it is going to be 10 o'clock in 5 seconds, which means it's time for the news with Brian Hughes. We'll be back. Great good morning, everyone. My Cordaro Jewelers watch tells me it's 10:07:30 here in the great Northeast this beautiful but pretty hot Wednesday, July 30th, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show, and I am he. And it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values. And with the help of our man, John Basiliga, and Basiliga Hospitality, Terra 519 and Sergey's, a great launching pad for Jazz Weekend in Scranton to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we lost this year, but celebrate this day, like Stanley Babe Koznetsky of Ashley, Vincent Connors of German, David Urkanen of Drums, Michael Buddy Kuzmiak of Scott Township, Paul Panuski of West Scranton, and Joseph Devaney of Bloomsburg. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle, gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you a sanctuary of sanity in a world where a certain amount of people, including the entire leadership of the Democrat Party, has gone insane. And you almost say to yourself, what? Oh, like they're saying, oh, there was nothing wrong with Joe Biden. Oh, they didn't try to steal votes from the 2020 election. What are you talking about? What is, and by the way, they're proven wrong every time. Do you remember scumbag Joe Biden run around? It's not Jim Crow, it's Jim Eagle, the Georgia voting law. They have record turnouts ever since. These people are stupid. By the way, don't give them credit for more intelligence than they have. Most of them are incredibly clever, the leadership gang. Like a Ron Klain, like all the people behind a Valerie Jarrett. They're incredibly clever. But to be truly intelligent, you have to know the score. You have to have a decent relationship with fact, truth, and reality. And these people do not, I promise you. So, unbelievable. By the way, somebody pointed out that man, Robert Curley, suffered greatly. His horrible wife is out of prison, I believe, and yes, she is. Yep. And somebody else says mental gymnastics, because one of our trolls brought that up. It's fine as long as you land the dismount time and time again. Somebody else, Mrs. Curley used rat poison. She got out of prison. She's pure evil. Yeah, and by the way, that's why I have no hesitation bringing it up again. She was guilty of the crime, and she deserves the attention for committing it. Somebody said, I think my wife's doing it to me. Well, if you got a funny taste in your iced tea, just be cautious, would you please? All right. Well, there's a great event going on. Of course, we got the Jazz weekend this weekend. But there's a great event that's been going on for a number of years in the honor of a great young guy by the name of Cody Barace, who we lost far, far too young. And his brother, Joe Barace, is on the phone to talk about it. Joe, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Good. Happy to be back.
Tell us all about it, date, time, all that kind of thing.
Yeah, so we've got two great events going on, both August 9th, both for the Cody Barace Foundation. We start in the morning over at Prep at 8 in the morning for 3-on-3 basketball. Teams can still sign up to play for that. We have teams all the way from 5th grade through men's, through adults for both men's and women's. And then at night, we have a party over at the Cultural Center that you could show up and buy a ticket that night. has open bar, food from all over the area. There's a band playing. And that event is to highlight organ donation and who my brother was as a person.
Tell us about Cody. Great guy. I just remember him so well. I used to call him Cawthai.
Cody was an amazing person and brother and friend. When you talk to his buddies, they talk about him always being there for him. He was doing that up until his final act when he donated his organs and really changed forever the outcome of people's lives.
Yeah.
And he continues to live on through them. But then he also, his friends also keep his spirit alive and keep his memory alive as well through this amazing foundation. And we couldn't be more grateful to the community for their help in doing this.
Joe Barrace, what does the Cody Barrace Foundation do? What's the focus of the funds that are raised?
Yeah, so the main focus of the funds that are raised are to help families in our area going through organ transplantation. We help just shy of 70 families, mostly in Northeast Pennsylvania, who are going through organ transplantation. It's a long process from the time they get on the list to the continual treatment that they need afterwards. So, if you get yourself a kidney transplant, it doesn't end, when you get out of the hospital. You're continually going down to, special hospitals, to back to Philadelphia, New York, Hershey. Sometimes monthly, sometimes more than that. So that means you have to take some time off of work. Sometimes your family has to go travel with you. And it gets expensive. Insurance pays for certain things, not all of it. We try to help fill those gaps that insurance won't pay for. We try to help fill your car up with gas, take care of your tolls, take care of the hotel for your loved one that's coming to take care of you while you're in the hospital. Certain people need some special diets, so we help try to supplement that and allow them to afford the special meal plans that they put on. So we really try to be there, allow people to kind of worry about their health and not have to worry about their financial burden that is caused by the transplantation.
Joe Barrace is our guest. We're talking about the annual Cody Barrace Foundation events taking place Saturday, August 9th, 3-on-3 basketball tournament. By the way, that has been some awesome basketball. Like, it's worth getting into this 3-on-3 thing at prep on Saturday morning.
Yeah, it's been some great basketball. I mean, we have stellar basketball for all ages. So some great competition. In years past, we've had some finals where 5 out of 6 guys in the court all played college basketball. Other times we've had some winners that haven't, touched a basketball since high school. It runs the gamut of how much talent they've had, and it really is a great day. You've got I'll be out there playing.
Do you still got it, Joe?
Yeah, getting off the ground is a little bit more of a problem these days. Not that I ever really jumped high to start with, but it's a great day. People are out there having a really good time and doing kind of what my brother loves. He loves to play basketball, be competitive, be around people having fun, and that's kind of the spirit we want to have.
Now, how many years has this been going on, the Cody Barrace Foundation and these events? I know it started with the 3-on-3.
13th year.
13th year. And going strong. That's the social event at the Scranton Cultural has been it's like a thing you should go to for fun.
Yeah, it's a great time. It's kind of grown a little bit every year, and we couldn't be more grateful to the community for continuing to support us every year.
Well, the Barrace family is beloved here in Northeast Pennsylvania, as was Cody. Let's go quickly back to how could people participate either in the basketball, the nighttime event, or by donating?
Yeah, so first we'll start off with donating. You could go to our website at CodyBarraceFoundation.com.
BARRASSE.
Yep, and there's a space there to donate. It'd be extremely grateful to that. If you would like to play basketball, our website also has the link to sign up to play basketball. If you want to come to our event at night, you could just show up. The event starts at 7:30 at the Cultural Center. It'll go on until about 10:30. And then additionally, we'll have a basket raffle at both of them. They could, if you want to play basketball and just want to come, you're welcome to come and kind of take a look at the awesome baskets that we've had donated. It'll be a great time.
It's a big deal, and it's fun, and I hope you get a chance to call in next week so we can remind people of it. August 9th, Saturday. What time does the basketball start in the morning?
Around 8 o'clock.
So basketball in the morning, a great social event at night at the Scranton Cultural Center for the Cody Brace Foundation, which seeks to support Oregonese throughout Northeast Pennsylvania, but here in our listening area for sure. Joe Brace, I appreciate you coming on to talk about it, and appreciate all the work that you and Cody's friends and the family puts into this every year.
Thank you so much. It means a lot that you have us on and to continually spread our mission, and thank you.
Great stuff. Joe Brace, Cody Brace Foundation, August 9th. Go to the website. Find out what it's all about. Thank you, man. We'll take a break. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. The Trogs. Murph tells us this date, 1966. They had the number one hit, Wild Thing. Bob Cordaro back with you on the eponymous program. So next Saturday, the Cody Brace Foundation with those great events, the 3-on-3 basketball, and then the social at night at the Scranton Cultural Center. Both great events. I mean, fun. And a worthy cause to donate to as well. Hey, Ed from Berwick, you've been patient. Ed, regarding the shooting in New York City on Monday, how are you?
Oh, good. LTS.
It's back at you.
And che così acquisto, Roberto. Now, I'm a veteran, a lot of years in the military, a lot of years outside. Not a hero. Did the thing, though. Okay, here's what's important.
Well, you are a hero, but that's another story.
Yeah, another story.
I'll disagree, yeah.
Entering New York, come out of the tunnel, it's a big sign there. It says, gun-free zone. Carry a gun in this city, it's a felony. Therefore, I was in the neighborhood before the bullets flew. Lucky I got out of the city and through the tunnel on the way home already. But
yesterday?
Monday.
Oh, wow.
Monday, yeah. So, therefore, with that sign, this whole thing's a big lie. It's against the law to carry a gun in New York. You can't shoot anybody. It says so on the sign. Yeah. I'm trying to play liberal here, you know?
Yes.
So either that, or all these people that got murdered, they're Trump supporters and they're faking. You know, Trump lies about everything. And all his followers are liars.
I know, yeah.
So I'm just trying to feed our liberal friends what the truth of the matter is. And to them, I have an Italian salute. Facciamo la mazza. And with that, I will slide away. Good to hear from you. And you go to New York anytime. You get shot, it does not count.
That's right. That's right. As long as you don't bring your own gun.
Right. Oh, and if you shoot a guy who's trying to shoot you, you'd be like that Marine, Pennies in the subway.
Yes.
Unarmed. He tackled a man that was armed, and yeah, he got cleared, but it cost him a fortune.
I know it.
In defense. He's the one that got punished.
They're all
But
lunatics.
we're not going to drag this out. You got people waiting, especially our wonderful liberals. I like to listen to them. I need a laugh now and then.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate
So,
it.
buongiorno. See you when I see you. Bye.
Ed from Berwick. Well, yeah. Oh, Lord. Tom from Dallas, he says, Trump ran on the economy, border, and crime. No matter how simple-minded you are, he's got A's in every single one of those categories. Just in the last 6 months, if you listen to liberal propaganda, you would have said the stock market was supposed to crash. Inflation was supposed to cause massive inflation. Trump was going to start a war with Iran. Tariffs wouldn't work, and everyone that opposed Trump would be in a concentration camp. I know. It's scary. And now we have someone actually saying, like, I don't know, what argument do you have against Donald Trump at this point except you don't like him? Which is fine, by the way. It's fine. And I think that not liking Trump, it's irrelevant. What is best for you? What's best for your family? What's best for the country? Clearly, it's Donald Trump and Republican policies. And I mean, it's indisputable, frankly. So they say, well, they cut Medicaid. Well, that's a lie, number one. We can't afford these programs because of the tax cuts for the rich. The tax rates have been in place since 2017 and all through the Biden presidency. Number one. Number two, revenue to the federal government from income tax has gone up since the tax cuts. So, lie. What else do we call it? I mean, do we call it something nicer? Because I don't understand why you would continue on this path. Now, all right, I don't like Trump. Again, understood. I get it. I happen to love him. But he can strike people either way. But the results, the common sense of the policies. Some people, you had a right to question the tariff policies he was putting in place before it started. But he knew what he was doing quite obviously. And it's been a great success for the federal treasury, for our economy, and over an extended period of time for people who need those jobs. And I go back to every left-wing Democrat Party policy. There is not one good one among them. Not one. Even if the intention is good, we could prove that it's already been tried and has failed in this country and throughout history. Number two, we don't have the money. Are you going to ignore again, they have to willfully ignore fact, truth, and reality. Why would someone do that? I don't understand. The deficits, the national debt it's almost ready to crush our economy if it's not slowly and I believe quickly reversed. So you almost get back to like, well, what's your point? Let's say he cut Medicaid, which is a lie. Something has to be cut. A lot of things have to be cut. How about the other lie? 300,000 people have died because of the USAID spending cuts. These people are insane. According to them, the entire population of the United States has died 3 times over. And then when they're caught on that lie, they go to the next one, and the same people believe them. How do you handle this? How do you justify to yourself, look yourself in the mirror, look yourself in the mirror and say, is this true, what I'm spouting, what I'm repeating? I don't know. Crazy stuff. And I mean, could you be loyal to the Democrat Party of old? Yeah, yes. But it doesn't exist anymore, not in any way, shape, or form. And the core of the Democrat agenda is evil. The abortion on demand, transgender surgery for children, allowing crime to afflict working class and poor people in our cities. Nothing about it. Unreal. Somebody said when Trump announced no tax on tips, the professionals claimed it would destroy the economy. When Kamala Harris said no tax on tips, the same professionals said it was the greatest thing to help the working people. I know. The experts. All right, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll return. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by John Basiliga, a true patriot. And two of his great properties we'll talk about this hour, a Terra 519 and Sergey's, who were all in for Scranton's Jazz Weekend. David Urcanon, he was from drums. He was 80 years old when we lost him July 18th. Born in Hazleton. He spent the past 5.5 years in drums after living in Venice, Florida. He also lived in Eagle Rock before moving to Venice. He was an Air Force veteran of the Vietnam War. Served us from 1963 to 1967. He was a security manager for Tobyhanna Army Depot in Tobyhanna before retiring in 2003. He also worked in Heidelberg, Germany at the Patton Barracks for 3 years. Surviving his wife, Andrea, a son, 2 daughters, a stepson, 2 stepdaughters, 4 grandchildren, and 2 step-grandchildren, as well as other family members. David Urcanon. Michael Buddy Kuzmiak, 92 of Scott Township. He died July 17th. He was the husband of the former Millie Sharuda Kuzmiak. The couple celebrated their 69th wedding anniversary June 3rd. Buddy was born in Peckville, a graduate of Oliphant High School, member of All Saints Orthodox Church in Oliphant. Buddy Kuzmiak proudly served his country in the U.S. Army, recipient of the M1 Rifle Sharpshooter Citation. Buddy loved his church and his faith. He worked as a bookbinder for Haddon Craftsman Manufacturing in Scranton. Member of the Haddon Craftsman Bowling League back then, the Raymond Henry American Legion Post in Oliphant, the American Ukrainian Veterans Association in Scranton. Buddy was a devoted husband, father, grandfather, great-grandfather, and friend. In addition to his wife, Millie, survived by 2 sons, 2 daughters, 11 grandchildren, 7 great-grandchildren, nieces and nephews. Tragically, he was preceded in death by his infant daughter, Deborah Jean, and 1 grandson, Michael Dane Kuzmiak. Buddy Kuzmiak. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and his great Atera 519 and Sergey's. Hey, they're in the middle of the action for this great Scranton Jazz Weekend starting Friday at Atera. Jazz 6 to 8 while you dine. And then downstairs, no cover jazz from 7 to 10. That's Friday. Saturday, Sergey says jazz 7 to 10, no cover, and you could dine downstairs with a delicious filet, halibut dinner, listening to your favorite jazz music. Finishing up the weekend with Sunday at Atera's Sunday Jazz Brunch, 10 to 2. All their delicious brunch foods. I can't wait for that. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, sunny and hot with a chance of thunderstorms, 92 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, 68. Thursday, cloudy and cooler with showers and thunderstorms, likely 77. Friday, clouds and morning showers, then becoming partly sunny, 74 degrees. Murph tells us this date, 1966. Tommy James and the Shondells had the number 2 hit with Hanky Panky. Bob Cordaro back with you. Hey, one of our great listeners, Colleen. Now, she texted in. She received a jury notice and filled out the online questionnaire. She's disabled with limited mobility. She cannot sit or stand for long periods of time. I mentioned all this in the questionnaire. Do you know who I can direct my concerns to from the jury board? Who's in charge? Now, I asked which county. She's from Luzerne County. And I said there should be a contact number on the jury notice. So if anybody's gotten a jury notice from Luzerne County, call us or text it in to give Colleen some direction. I frankly don't know, but I suspect the place to call will be on the jury notice. That's what I believe. Somebody says, following a liberal logic, if you're saying the revenue from the Treasury has increased by so much and we should be able to spend more, shouldn't we take more in, throw more out? So let's not cut anything. Let's just spend some more. They outspend the growth in government revenue. I hope you're getting that. Their needs are endless. And remember who they are, the Democrat Party in particular. They're calling a $200 billion a year increase in Medicaid spending a cut. Please remember who we're talking about here. Trained liars and government spending addicts. I mean, there's not much else you could say. By the way, we're also talking about the same people who told you the border was secure. So I'm sure you had a point. They will always outspend the revenue that comes in and lie about that fact. I don't know. So what do I tell you? How far do we go with this? And it's, by the way, you have to, seriously, you have to be willfully ignorant to not know what I just said. Like, you have to just be wanting to disbelieve fact, truth, and reality. I don't know why you would, but you must have to want to believe that which is false. It's always been that way. Cuts have been reductions in the growth of spending programs. Now, I'll say this. One of the areas that I guarantee is ripe to save hundreds, maybe $100 billion or more, is the Defense Department. They are blowing money like going out of style. China is getting so much bang for its buck compared to us. And Trump's done a couple of really good things. They may bear fruit. He appointed essentially a shipbuilding czar because we have such a shortage of ships, and it takes so long to build one, and we've over decades lost shipbuilding capacity in this country that we're really actually in peril. Not only for our commitments, but for our all our commitments, but for our containment of the Red Chinese with and on behalf of our allies in the South China Sea and Southeast Asia. We got a lot of work to do. Okay, somebody text in, thank you, for Colleen on the jury deal. 825-1678. 825-1678. 1678. By the way, we'll have a history moment. Jimmy Hoffa, he disappeared 50 years ago today. And more movies and more conversation, more books have been written about it. Joni texts in too, 825-1678, number for Colleen. The web address is jury.luzernecounty.org. Thanks, Joni. Also, somebody said, you fill this jury survey online in Luzerne County. There's an area on the form for the reasons you cannot serve. You have to fill out the form first. But you should be released because of medical reasons. You'll get an email within 5 days. So there's solutions there, Colleen. Our listeners know that. I'm saying the collective wisdom of this program is substantial. The sad part is at the same time, the collective ignorance of the dummycrats in the audience is frightening. Why they insist on it, I don't know, but we love them anyway. Time for a break. We want to hear from our great sponsors. Bloomberg Money Minute in the middle there. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Lovin' Spoonful. Murph tells us they moved from number 21 to number 7 with their hit Summer in the City. This date, 1966. And in 75, former Union President Jimmy Hoffa disappeared in suburban Detroit. And although presumed dead, his remains have never been found. Probably cremated. Part of the book, I Hear You Paint Houses, which focused a lot on local mafia chief Russell Buffalino and his role in the Hoffa killing as well as other things. Although some people dispute whether Frank Sheeran, the subject of the book, was involved in the killing at all, he may have been part of the lure to make Hoffa comfortable enough to show up for that meeting. And he reports that the body was immediately taken out of a house in suburban Detroit where he had been shot and cremated. And that seems likely. Certainly possible. In any event, Jimmy, my father was a Teamster. And it was I believe, at the time when Hoffa was in his heyday, early 60s. Fascinating. It was just incredible, all the characters is a little bit weak when we talk about the mob and the Teamsters and Hoffa, but incredible dynamics in all of that. The Teamsters, there's a great movie, by the way, called Fist. Sylvester Stallone is in it, the great Sylvester Stallone. And he plays a Hoffa-like character. And the reason for bringing in and getting involved with the mob, the Teamsters, was because they needed that muscle, because the company owners hired leg breakers all the time, and the Teamsters needed a little muscle to fight back. And once you're in bed with them, you're in bed with them. And so on and so forth. Scooby-Dooby-Dooby. Fascinating. By the way, a funny thing happened. We're familiar with this Jasmine Crockett. Just a real horse's ass. She's a complete idiot. She's a complete phony, complete actress. And she discovered her way to the top. Because remember, she didn't have this street girl attitude or accent when she was coming up. There's recordings of her speaking like a normal human being. Anyway, The Atlantic, hardly a right-wing propagandist, they do a profile of her. So now they do this thing, which they occasionally do in publications like this. They committed an act of journalism. They interviewed her, let her run through her nonsense, and then they started interviewing Congress people. Well, she said, I didn't give you permission to interview other people. They said, what? So she's livid with The Atlantic because they have people who are admitting what she is behind the scenes and well, not off the record, but for background, that she's just a jackass running around seeking attention. And she's furious with The Atlantic. This is like the Biden administration criticizing the media. When they got patty caked, when there was total lies about his mental condition, when there was a cover-up on everything they did wrong in his administration, and yet they blamed the media. I guess if you get coddled for so long, It turns out, by the way, the massive earthquake we were following, and I didn't bring it up, but because nothing really came of it, but there were tsunami alerts from this 8.8 magnitude. And remember, as you go up in the numbers, each point is exponentially more destructive. But the tsunami concerns for Hawaii and the West Coast turned out to be largely unfounded. So thank God for that. All right. I look at my Cordaro Jewelers watch. Well, you know, it not only tells me the time, it tells me that my wrist looks good. And Cordaro watch, well, you could go there on Jefferson Street and Spruce Street in Scranton, and you got the Breitling, Oris, Longines, Michelle, Shinola, Luminox, Swiss Army, and Seiko. And the Cordaro Jewelers, your watch store, says it's 11:02:17. Time for the news with Brian Hughes. We'll be back. Great good morning, everyone. My Picardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 11:09:30 here in the great Northeast this beautiful Wednesday, July 30th, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man John Basiliga and two of his great properties, a Terra 519 and Sergey's in downtown Scranton, they are your Jazz Weekend headquarters. We honor the veterans we lost this year, but have a chance to celebrate today. Michael Buddy Kuzmiak, Scott Township. David Urkanen, drums. Vincent Connors, German. Stanley Babe Koznetsky, Ashley. Paul Panuski, West Scranton. And Joseph Devaney, Bloomsburg. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you a sanctuary of sanity in a world where an entire political party bases its policy on lies. Our man, Mark Margavage, local but a national meteorologist, I just got an email, new climate report, refuting the catastrophic global warming nonsense. And I look forward. We're going to delve into that. Maybe not today, but we will get into it. Again, what more lies can they tell you? And please try to remember that all of their lies benefit them, not you. Somebody texts in, Dear Bob, we talk about Obama, Clapper, Brennan, Comey, but we must not forget Blinken, Morell, and the 51 intelligence agents who tried to shout down the Hunter Biden laptop story. These people are awful people. Let us say that you think Trump is awful and you believe all the lies, or you're the person making up all the lies. He's going to start a world war. He's Hitler. He's racist. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Let us say you're stupid enough to believe that. Now, nobody is, by the way. Let's say you intend to be that stupid. For your own benefit, by the way, when you count these 51 intelligence executives, first of all, they all failed at their jobs. Our intelligence community fails virtually all the time. Please remember that. If you could tell me something they were right about, let me know. Let me know. I'll stand corrected. But do you have to lie? Do you have to resort to being devious? Well, yeah, they do. Because if you're on the left, if you're in the head of in the upper reaches of the Democrat Party and the political establishment in this country, you have to lie. You have to be a hypocrite. Because everything you've done has failed the people. So you got to start making things up. And that's what they did. Crazy stuff. Hey, let's go to Donald from Pittston. He is here, and he's got a theme song.
How you doing, Bob?
Hey, Donald. How are you, my man? You want to come over? You've come over. We love you.
I wanted to talk about this Jasmine Crockett. I've always been a center, but he's just such common sense. They're just crazy people. The things she was saying about Trump, about Hitler, I mean, they should censor her. She's right now, it's ridiculous.
No, I say let her go. Movie. Let her go. I'm watching Cory Booker on the floor of the Senate. Idiots like this, let them go. Let them keep going.
Right. There was a movie once. It's called Jackass. They put a midget in the cannon and they shoot him out of the cannon. They should put her in the cannon and have AOC light the fuse and shoot her out of a cannon because she's crazy. I mean, you know what the problem is with these people? There's, like you said, they're just as dumb as wood. You have, what can we do to be more like Trump? Can we curse? Can we grow a beard? Can we dye our hair blonde? No, you got to do it. You can start by taking the tampons out of the boys' bathroom. Well, so there's on these podcasts. We got to get the vote. You have no leader. You have no agenda, and nobody wants your agenda anyway. You're transgender, you're open borders, you're protecting criminals, drug dealers, rapists, and murderers over the regular good citizens. The whole party's shot. That's like I said. It's 36%. Now, they're totally just disengaged on people anyway. And Trump's at 93 with his party. Nobody wants something to do with the party. They're going to have to revamp the whole party, Bob.
Donald, well, there's no doubt about that. And they have to for the sake of the country. Because we need at least two strong political parties. We can't have a Democrat Party that hates this country. We can't have a Democrat Party with this kind of leadership and these kind of insane policies. We can't have it. It's hurting the country.
And then they have an ad like this lady. Oh, Brezhnev cut my Medicare. I talked to her. They told like a blonde-haired woman. He never cut her Medicare. So I bet $1,000 her Medicare was cut. She's talking about the cuts, the people that were the illegal aliens he cut. Yeah. He didn't cut her Medicare. You know for a fact she's lying. They have these people lie on these ads and stuff. They're cutting this and that. If her Medicare was cut, then she didn't cut. Then,
Donald, we both have Democrat friends who we really care for. We like them. When you bring up. Or when you get into, I don't get into discussions on politics anymore because I figure I do it 15 hours a week. I don't have to do it more. But if we're in a discussion, I notice they completely ignore the insanity that's part and parcel of the Democrat Party, whether it's gender, whether it's the border, whether it's crime, whether it's the complete idiots that are like Jasmine Crockett, like Joe Biden, go down the list. They just pretend that it doesn't exist and continue with their support for the Democrat Party. I don't get it.
I just think I just want an opposite, like just to have an opposite, like a positive and a negative. They're negative. I mean, they're negative on everything. It's ridiculous. They lied about Trump, about the convictions and stuff, everything. It's for perfect. If you're that dumb to realize that, if you were to run a stop sign, if you would answer that citation in 10 days, you'd be a warrant out for your arrest somehow, or pay for it, or they'd be a warrant out for your arrest, they suspend your license. He said he had all these charges against him, the Russia collusion. Everything they say is just totally a lie. Everything. It's horrible. It's sickening right now. They see what they're doing? And we know Trump exaggerates, but what they're doing is just downright lies. Like with the price of gas was going to skyrocket after Iran, and it actually went down. Yeah. There's just wrong on every single issue, but they don't want to admit it. Why don't you just change your policies? Because God forbid, you got now they're reduced to socialists in New York. This guy's going to win. They took a new poll. He's ahead now. It's so sad.
By the way, Donald, somebody texted in, please don't allow Donald to insult wood by comparing it to Crockett.
Yeah, it's horrible. Right? These people, I'll tell you, it's a shame. You got to. I don't know what their intentions are. How could you support drug dealers, rapists, and murderers over the citizens of America? It makes no sense. You can't figure it out.
And that is their policy. That is the policy. It's insane.
Right. You can't believe a party would actually do that. it's not so much at a state level. It's these people at a national level, like the
Oh
squad
no,
and
you
all
go
them,
to
the
go to
crackers.
Harrisburg. Go to Harrisburg, Donald.
Yeah.
Our Democrat Party in Harrisburg is a disaster.
Yeah, that's what they tell me. It's really bad. This the men, one guy, Marty Flynn. Well, no one around here wants men and women's sports. You know that. I don't just pray for them or something. I gotta do something. I just think, like I said, maybe they'll need a Bill Clinton to come along. Like I remember with Jesse Jackson, the party went nowhere under Reagan, and then he had to like get rid of Bill Clinton. Like said something about Sister Sled about the cops, and that changed everything. And that's what started him off.
But you know what, though, Donald? We never had. You think back to the Ronald Reagan era. The Democrat Party had normal people in it. As United States senators. You had Scoop Jackson, Proxmire. You think of all the the really good senators that were Democrat. You had Bob Casey, our governor. And you think about all of them, and you say, well, there was a normal alternative to the Republican Party when Reagan's there. Now, in the Trump era, there is nobody normal that has any policy stance that's normal. Nobody. Look at
it's amazing, isn't it? When you think about it, I'm a political historian. You scratch your head. I guess you just got to revamp the whole thing. Unless if they hit rock bottom with the socialists, but then you got to clean up the mess. It's going to take 4 to 8 years to clean up the mess. So it's just the best thing to do. If you could win, we could win this the midterms with Rob Bresnahan. That we got to get him elected again. That's my eyes on that. They want that seat so bad because all they're doing is running lies against them.
I know it.
Every ad, if you really look at it, they're just lying, just trying to. But they're going after the cuts for like the Medicaid and stuff.
Well, you know what I'll do is, what I'll tell people. I said, take pictures of the pool at Naog, and when Paige Cognetti tries to run for Congress, which she fully intends to do, when she runs for Congress, say she could do for. And by the way, you can take a picture of my street that I live on. It's like Fallujah. And just say she could do for the country what she did for Scranton.
Right. It's just the policies. We're not attacking them personally as a wife or a mother. So I'm sure she's a great wife and a good mother. That's not it. It's these issues that it's the incompetence that we're looking at here. We're not looking at personal attacks. I want to separate the two. I have nothing against these people.
Always, but it's hard to separate them when they base their entire campaign. Her entire campaign will be based on lies.
But they don't live like that.
I can't credit. Well, that's hypocrisy. That's total hypocrisy.
Next to these people, these criminals, or this, or they don't want to raise their kids that way with this gender nonsense. They don't want to do that. You know that.
I hope
put
not,
kids
Donald.
In private schools and everything.
They say the opposite, though.
All right,
Donald. Thank you. Always a pleasure.
All you got to do is just pray for them. I guess.
That's what we love them. We love them.
They feel like.
All right, man.
Thanks for everything.
Thank
Bob.
you. All right. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We will return. The Beatles. Murph says that this date, 1969, they were working on overdubs for their hit Come Together. And, of course, before that, the Beer Summit. Remember that? 2009, Harvard scholar Henry Louis Gates and Sergeant James Crowley, the Cambridge, Mass. Police officer who arrested him for disorderly conduct at his home. They had beers with President Barack Obama, Vice President Joe Biden. I think the Speaker of the House was there. Republican Speaker of the House. Well, that's how I remember it. But anyway, they brought him to the White House to discuss the dispute that unleashed a furor over racial profiling. And look, even if you're a professor, the cops come. You cooperate. You say yes, sir, and no, sir. Yes, officer, no, officer. And he chose not to, Professor Gates. By the way, genuinely had the right to be upset. But how does that manifest itself? Remember, he didn't have identification, and he broke into his own home because he didn't have his keys. The cops saw it, and they confronted him inside the home. The short version is, I don't know that he proved who he was, but I mean like family pictures, that kind of thing. And they ended up arresting him for disorderly conduct. Because he was disorderly. He was in his own home, but he was disorderly. Again, you have the right to be upset with the police. You don't have the right to jostle with them. Anyway, that is the process whereby Obama set back race relations in this country. So despite the fact that we elected a half African American as president of the United States, because of his left-wingness and his wife's idiocy, we set back racial progress for decades. And then Democrat policy and Democrat Party made it worse. Sad. I mean, we were there. We were getting there. We were so close to people starting to look at each other as people, not of a particular race, ethnicity, religion. And the Democrats screwed it up because their belief is divide and conquer. If we divide people against each other, we can conquer. I don't know. It's a real shame. So he says, Bob, why don't some normal Dems from the past, like the Bush family or others, come forward and defend Trump in our country? Well, the Bush family's all offended. And I was a fan of George Bush, met him a number of times. Just the second, the son, W. But I think he's been he's had an awful post-presidency. And he's demonstrated his devotion to the status quo and the establishment over the American people. Because no matter what you want to say about Trump, he's fighting for the American people against the Democrat Party and the establishment. And George Bush is not. He's fighting for the establishment, for the status quo. So shame on him. He's been a horrible ex-president. He was a terrible president, George Bush. He got us involved in Afghanistan. He got us involved in Iraq. He got us involved in spending more money on education and having the federal government more involved in education. All things that normal people had to extract this from. He was a terrible president. Good guy, terrible president, devoted to the establishment and the status quo. Somebody says you have the right to free speech even to police officers. Yes. How do you say it? How do you express it? Officer, and I'm not saying it's easy. Officer, you're wrong. But then you comply with any orders they have. Somebody said the Bush family is part of the swamp as well. They benefited from the swamp. But you got to remember this with respect. The 8 years of Obama set the stage for the swamp to become really disgracefully awful. And then the Biden years, it was Katie bar the door. Everything bad that could be done to increase government power was done. And we really went into overdrive with the nonprofits, the NGOs, the foundations, academia, the media, all working together to further their interests over the country. So it's what is. And the Bush family, the father was a decent president, but then he failed horribly by increasing taxes instead of cutting spending. He went against his word. And the American people didn't forgive him, and Ross Perot then came along and took enough votes away that he lost. And he was a good president. But the son was not a good president, not at all. He had flashes of great leadership after 9/11, but who caused 9/11? Who let it happen? And then who created this gargantuan Homeland Security Department? Yeah, not a good president. Sorry. Liked him, not a good president. A bad one, in fact. All right, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll be back. Well, Jazz Weekend at Terra 519 in Sergey's. And our man John Basiliga, he sponsors every hour and every day our great veterans tribute, as do his companies, including those outstanding venues. Paul Panuski, he was 92 when we lost him July 7th. He was from West Scranton. He died while under the care of the Gino Murley Veterans Center. His very dear wife, Rose Carrera Panuski, whom he shared 67 years of marriage, preceded him in death March 8th, 2021. Born in Pittston, 1950 graduate of West Scranton High School. Paul was a Korean War veteran. Basic training at Camp Polk, Louisiana, member of the 37th Infantry Regiment. He then went to Fort Riley, Kansas, and trained on the 4.2 mortar. Paul had a special love for the United States of America. Paul Panuski worked initially at International Correspondence School on Kaiser Avenue, later for Haddon Craftsman, and ultimately retired from the Office Services Department of HarperCollins Publishers. Active parishioner St. David's Church, Kaiser Avenue, prior to its closure. Eucharistic minister, lector, choir member, coordinator of the CCD program. Paul was a parishioner of St. Patrick's Church, West Scranton, at his passing. Charter member, the Knights of Columbus, Our Lady of Perpetual Help Council, and a fourth-degree knight at St. Anne's Assembly. Surviving are his 4 children, 15 grandchildren, 15 great-grandchildren, nieces, nephews, and other family members. Tragically preceded in death by his son, Paul J. Panuski. Paul Panuski. Joseph Devaney, State Police Corporal, Deputy Sheriff. He was 78 when he passed July 17th. He was from Bloomsburg. Resident of Scott Township in Columbia County for more than 45 years. Born in Wilkes-Barre, graduate of St. Mary's High School there. Faithfully served us in the United States Army during the Vietnam War, 1965 to 69. 1972, Joseph married his loving wife, the former Carol Marino, who preceded him in death on 2015. More than 32 years, he continued to serve us with the Pennsylvania State Police until retirement in 2004. After that, he was a deputy sheriff in Columbia County until his second retirement in 2017. Joe was a member of St. Columba Catholic Church, a member of the American Legion, Bloomsburg Post, Elks Lodge, Knights of Columbus, Fraternal Order of Police. Survivors include his 3 beloved children and 2 granddaughters, as well as other family members. Joseph Devaney Jr. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and 2 of his great properties, which are front and center for this Jazz Weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Beginning with Friday at Terra, Jazz 6 to 8 while you dine. Then downstairs at Sergey's, 7 to 10, more jazz, no cover. Saturday, Sergey says Jazz 7 to 10 again, no cover. You can dine downstairs as well. Delicious filet, halibut dinner, while listening to your favorite jazz music. Sunday, the incredible Atera's Sunday brunch. It'll be a jazz brunch this week from 10 to 2. All their favorite delicious brunch foods. John Basiliga, Atera 519, and Sergey's. Storm Tracker 16 forecast for meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, sunny and hot with a chance of thunderstorms. High 92. Tonight, partly cloudy, 68. Thursday, cloudy, cooler. Showers and thunderstorms likely. A more moderate 77 degrees. Friday, clouds and morning showers, then becoming partly sunny, 74 on Friday, as some people say. They say Saturday and they say Friday. Thanks, Frank. Thanks, Gerard. Apropos of nothing that we've been talking about, but I noticed an article in the paper yesterday. Scranton man charged in gold bar scam that cost a woman $3 million. This, I can't even pronounce the name. It's like Dharmik Kumar Sataria. He's 25. And what he did is they sent a notice. You got to watch your email and your texts. And which ones you answer. If you don't know where it's from, just don't answer it. But he gets in touch with this woman. She receives a computer notification. Someone had used her bank account to purchase $18,000 in pornography. She didn't contact authorities because she was embarrassed. And so the bogus notification included a phone number. She thought it was the fraud department at her bank. She calls, because remember, we're not talking to our neighbor anymore at First National Bank of Dunmore or wherever, you know. The woman spoke with someone pretending to be an agent with the Federal Trade Commission. He says, you got to purchase gold bars. That's how to protect your money. So she withdrew money from her bank account and she bought gold bars. Now, on the outside, it seems stupid. Like, how did you fall for this? Well, these guys are good. She's told to give the gold bars to a courier. She buys them. And they take them and they keep having her buy them. And so I was thinking about it because did you ever see these? I don't have the time to get into it, I guess. But like threads and these beautiful women want to be your friend or whatever. Come on, please. I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. My Bacardi Jewelers watch says 11:50. Eddie Grant. Murph says this date, 1983, he had the number 2 hit with Electric Avenue. Bob Cordaro back with you. A lot of people responding on this scam thing. Somebody says similar scams on dating sites. And another says, who's this woman who can buy $3 million in gold and does she have a boyfriend? Bob, my wife has been corresponding with Elon Musk, his mother, and Steven Tyler of Aerosmith, I believe on Instagram. You know it's fake. LTS says cabinet guy. Well, I just look at the girl and I'm like, first of all, I'm taken. Done. But that aside, I just, as an observer of the process, and I observe my life almost as much as I live it. And this, like, stunning, insanely gorgeous woman wants to either be my friend on Facebook or what. And I'm like, I'm not that gullible. And I'm gullible, by the way. And they do it all the time. Somebody says, I have a difference of opinion with you. Because I got my Russian princess. Now all I have to do is to get the pump through Amazon. Yeah. So, yeah, all you got to do is send money and you got a princess. It's really crazy. And they'll correspond with you. They'll say, blah, blah. And when you're on Instagram, I guess they put you on Threads. I don't know how I got on Threads, but I'm on it. And Threads it's completely ridiculous. I don't understand the purpose. And I'm not like I am a Luddite when it comes to technology. But I mean, I get it. Even if I don't know how it works and all that kind of thing. But I sort of say, like, well, what are you doing? Like, what do you want? If you were normal, looking like that, you'd have a rich boyfriend. Well, I'm poor. I'm old. I'm a little chunky compared to the old days. So it's like, I don't get it. I really don't. But is that the purpose of it? And what, I guess if you engage with them later on, they'll ask you to meet them or ask for, could you send me some money? Or I don't know. It's just crazy. So guys, just always watch it. I get these things on my text because it's my only phone number. So you have to put it down for a lot of stuff so they resell it on you. And I'll get things about, like, just for example, I'll get something that seems legitimate, whether it's a bill collection agency or something to do with a traffic violation. Well, naturally, you want to get on and say, wait, I don't have any traffic violations. I don't owe any money. And that's how they get you. So, hey, we're going to finish with Johnny Cash. Murph says this date, 1955. He recorded his hit, Folsom Prison Blues, after watching the movie Walls of Folsom Prison while stationed in Germany for the U.S. Air Force, eventually doing a concert there. And I mention this all the time. They say when you're looking at crime statistics, it's overwhelmingly and disproportionately African-American and minority. Well, it wasn't always so. You go look at that movie, Folsom Prison Blues, and the vast majority of the people in the prison are white. So please don't try to ascribe it to ethnicity. Ascribe it to leadership and failure and policy. Our veterans today, brought to you by our man John Basiliga. And remember, Atera 519 and Sergey's, your headquarters for everything Scranton Jazz Festival. Michael Buddy Kuzmiak, Scott Township, Lackawanna County. David Urkanen, drums. Vincent Connors, German. Stanley Babe Kuznetsky, Ashley. Paul Panuski, West Scranton. And Joseph Devaney, Bloomsburg. Great men we honored today. Well, Sue Henry's show is next. Rob O'Donnell's show is after that. But at this point, my Picardo watch tells me, well, first of all, go to Picardo's. Check them out. Jefferson Avenue, Spruce Street, Scranton, Breitling, Oris, Longines, Michelle, Shinola, Luminox, Swiss Army, Seiko, and, of course, my very own Picardo watch. They'll take care of you. And you'll be amazed. And it's my jewelry store, too. Love it. 12 o'clock. That's what Picardo watch says. That means it's time to wrap it up here. Time to gavel to close this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. God willing, I'll be with you tomorrow. Have a great afternoon, guys.